Welcome to Betting the Buckets, the quick-hitting show that is all about the NBA. I'm Cole Ryan, your host, and I'm ready to take a speedy look around the league for Tuesday, December 2nd. This is the first of many shows, and the premise of the show is very simple. I'm here to give you some hard-hitting basketball betting information to get your day started. The show will only last about 5 minutes, but it will be jam-packed with great NBA information to include a look at the betting market, some basketball betting trends, as well as a winning pick. So with that in mind, let's get started. Before we look ahead to tonight, let's take a look back at last night's action. When handicapping basketball, it's important to look at the past results to find future winners in my mind, and the game I want to focus on is the game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the LA Clippers. The result really isn't that surprising. The Clippers won by 26 points, and they covered the 15-point line in the game. But it brought to my attention a seldom used handicapping tool that I wanted to bring up. The matchup featured two of the hottest over referees in Bill Kennedy and Brett Barnaquet. They were also joined by Kevin Cutler, who refereed the game, and it went over the closing total of 216. This number was rising all night. If you saw it earlier, it was around 210, 213, and went all the way up to 216, and for good reason. The over-under has now gone 10-4 in Kennedy's first 14 games that he's refereed, 10-3 in Barnaquet's opening 13 games that he's refereed, and even Cutler's over-under record is now at 7-6. Many handicappers will use umpires when they bet on baseball, but not referees in basketball. If Tim Donaghy taught us anything, it's that referees can affect the outcome of a game. Keep that in mind when handicapping tonight's slate as well as for the rest of the NBA season. Speaking of which, 10 games on the board tonight, and all of them don't have a posted line yet, but part of what I want to do on Betting the Buckets is take a quick look at the betting market. There are two games specifically for today that I do want to highlight. The first is the biggest public play on the board. That's the Portland Trail Blazers over the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets played against the Jazz last night, and they're in a tough back-to-back spot with over 89% of the public backing the Blazers in this game. Many basketball bettors like to fade or go against who the public bets, so I like to bring this to your attention. And this line's already on the move, by the way. It opened at -2, and it now can be found as high as -2.5. Another game to take note of is the Atlanta Hawks against the Boston Celtics. The Hawks are listed as 6.5-point favorites over the Celtics. The Hawks have won 2 straight and 7 of the last 10 overall, so they're pretty hot. The Celtics, on the other hand, currently one of the coldest teams in the NBA. After losing the last game against the Spurs in embarrassing fashion, the Celtics have now lost 4 in a row straight up and against the spread. They're not even keeping games close. The Celtics' record is now 5-9 against the spread for the season. This line could easily move to -7 by tip-off, so if you like the Hawks, get them now. Okay, now let's focus on why you're here. The early lines are covered. Let's move on to the pick of the night. Tonight, in one of the biggest games on the schedule, the Chicago Bulls will host the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks are hot. They've won 3 straight, all against teams from the East, and 9 of their last 11 overall. However, against the spread, they're struggling mightily. They failed to cover 4 of the last 5 games, and 2 of the 3 teams they did beat from the East were the lowly New York Knicks and the god-awful Philadelphia 76ers. So keep that in mind. The difference in this game could easily be free throws. The Mavs average 23 attempts per game, and the Bulls 27 attempts per game. This activates a power trend I found at the BangTheBook.com betting center. If you've not been to the betting center at BangTheBook.com, check it out. It's got a ton of great information, and it's where I get all of my handicapping information in the NBA. Anyway, when I went to the BangTheBook.com betting center, I found a trend that revealed that the free throw edge equals success at the betting window for the Bulls. Chicago is 154 and 116 against the spread when they attempt 4 to 9 more free throws than the opponents in a game since 1996. That's a return of 26.4 units on investment. Keep in mind they're at home, so you know the calls are going to go their way anyway. So to me, that's very important. Plus, the Mavericks are just 1-7 against the spread in the last 8 meetings. Derrick Rose, finally healthy again. If you've bet on the Bulls at all this season, you realize that you have to keep an eye on the injury report. Well, he's played 53 minutes over the past 2 games, averaging 17.5 points per game. Tonight, it's the Bulls' chance to get a big win against a Western Conference opponent. Take the Bulls. I'll drop the small number. They're only giving -2. There you have it. That's it. A fast break look at the NBA with a betting twist. Thanks for listening, and good luck betting the buckets.